Hello everyone, Carlos here from TrustedSec Research Team. So today I want to talk to you about a new version of Sysmon, Sysmon 13.10 that just got released. Now this new version of Sysmon updates the schema to version 4.6 by adding the file deleted detected event type with event ID 26. So with this new event type, one of the things that we can do is that now we can track deleted files without having to archive them. So we can be more selective and save space. And it actually helps us quite a bit to be more flexible in using this event type. Before, once we have this event type enabled, it will always archive that file. And sometimes if we are having a lot of false positives or our rule is not as tight as possible, one of the things that's going to happen is that we may fill up the hard drive of the machine, especially with change management processes. In addition to that, it fixes that before, if you had an include for the clipboard, and even though you may have an exclude that should prevent that from being logged, the contents of the clipboard was still being saved. So this fixes that issue. There was an issue with image load events that were not getting triggered depending on how the rule was written. This has been fixed, and also there has been some improved parsing of XML configuration files using now libxml as its engine for parsing the XML. So here we have kind of like our typical rule that we would do for file delete, where, as you can see here, I'm looking for some of the most common dangerous types of files that somebody may drop on a disk. And I'm checking like, hey, is this something that Outlook downloaded? Is this something that got downloaded to the downloads folder, or it went into the epdata local temp file? And also I'm covering the same types of files at different places inside of the drive that a user or an attacker can actually drop that file. There are multiple folders that they have write permission to that they can drop files into. So I'm monitoring all of those, and I'm going to save those files so I can later examine them. As you can see, I'm looking here for link file, BBA, BBS, PS1, rec, executables, DLLs, your typical execution files that we may want to track. Now, what happens, let's say, for the downloads folder? People are going to be downloading a lot of executables, MSI packages, zip files, 7-zip, probably RAR files, and I don't want to collect those as they delete those. So one of the things that I can now do with this new version of Sysmon is I can use the file delete detected, and I'm going to track those. I'm going to have a hash now that I can use to verify against multiple services, and it will allow me to track to see if it has been seen before in my environment. But it's going to cut down in the amount of space that is going to be consumed in my disk. Same thing for the temp folder. Anything that is XC, DLL, MSI, 7-zip, or zip files, I'm going to skip those. Now, this is just an example. You can extend this, for example, for RAR files, for ISO files, or any other format. And this will vary depending on your environment and your type of user. Same thing here. As you can see, there are going to be some types that I'm missing here. For example, .m or .files, template files for Office. It would be a good addition to this additional rule set over here. But I'll leave that to you to keep expanding on this, since Windows support multiple execution files. And also in our environment, as we install new applications, new types of execution files can be added to the environment. So this is what has been added now to the new version of Sysmon. As you can see, now we have a bit more flexibility in how can we capture this type of information. As always, I hope that you found the information useful. Just remember to like and subscribe, and I'll include a link to this file so you can take a look at this configuration file on your own. I'll put that file in our GitHub at TrustedSec. Thanks again for your time.